Welcome to Spiritual Geography. I'm Joni Miller. I have talked to hundreds of people about their personal spirituality, mostly through workshops I give using the Spiritual Geography card deck I designed. And I can tell you there are an infinite number of expressions of personal spirituality. And some of those expressions, truth be told, can make me a little uncomfortable. But my being uncomfortable doesn't mean the other person's spirituality is wrong in any way. My discomfort is not a judgment on their spirituality, merely a sign that I need to look at something within myself. I've come to believe the only way I can evaluate someone's spirituality is by looking at the fruits of their spirituality. How does the person act? What does the person do as a result of believing what they believe? For example, a belief in the inherent divinity of every living thing could bring someone love and joy and inspire them to act with kindness toward other people and toward nature. And it's not just spiritual beliefs that can bear fruit. Some spiritual practices have physical and psychological benefits. Meditation can lower blood pressure. Performing a certain ritual may help someone feel more at peace and more connected to the infinite. It doesn't matter if the ritual is communion in a church or a new moon ritual in a backyard. My judgment about the merits of the ritual, if I have any, doesn't mean the ritual isn't providing some spiritual or psychological value to the person in question. I certainly can't judge someone's spirituality by whether it's right or wrong, since the divine is infinite and we can only see and know a minuscule part of that which is transcendent. So I go back to the two questions I've mentioned here multiple times. One, how does the person's spirituality or spiritual beliefs or spiritual practices help them? And two, does their spirituality or spiritual beliefs or spiritual practices hurt them or anyone else in any way? These questions help me curtail my judgment when I'm talking with someone whose spirituality looks very different from my own. And let's face it, no one's spirituality lines up 100% with anyone else's. So we're always in danger of falling into judgment, or at least the vast majority of us are in danger of falling into judgment. But even if someone has mastered the art of non-attachment and doesn't judge, that person may push against someone else's beliefs. It's useful to know not only the things you gravitate toward, but also the things you push against, the belief or practices that you don't value, or that you know with absolute certainty that this particular belief or particular spiritual practice is not something you want to believe in or something you want to do. In these kinds of situations, I find it very useful to remember that someone else's belief or practice may be life-giving to them. Even though I don't personally believe it, aspire to do it, or in any way want to take it on for myself. But I need to take a step back and define what life-giving means in this situation. I see spirituality with 3 relationship elements. Healthy spirituality helps you with your relationship with yourself, your relationship with others, and your relationship with that which is transcendent. To see how spirituality can be life-giving, start by looking at your own spirituality and spiritual practices. I'm going to give you a whole bunch of questions, and not all of these questions will be relevant to you, and that's okay. Our spirituality isn't going to touch on all of these elements at any one point in time. And that's because our spirituality changes over our life, and the things we need to focus on today may not be pertinent at some other moment. Starting with your relationship with yourself. Is there a way your spirituality helps you look at yourself with kindness and compassion? How does your spirituality help you deal with your own mistakes and failings? We all make mistakes, and none of us is perfect. Does your spirituality have room for both humility and pride? Being able to see our own strengths, gifts, and contributions is as important as knowing our growing edges. Does your spirituality help you with self-acceptance, self-forgiveness? Do you find a sense of purpose through your spirituality? Does it give you a sense of being your authentic self? Do you find vision within it? Can you grow in wisdom? Does it give you strength and confidence so you can find courage when you need it? Where do you find joy and wonder and hope? How does your spirituality bring you peace? Do you have spiritual practices that help you feel more peaceful, like meditation or prayer? What benefits can you find from any rituals you might practice? Moving from your relationship with yourself to your relationship with others, how does your spirituality impact your relationship with others? How does your spirituality bring you more love, let you love more fully and completely? How does it create patience and compassion, which are really important for our relationships with other people? How do you use your spirituality to bring kindness and gentleness into your personal relationships? Does your spirituality create acceptance of others, promote justice or tolerance? What about finding forgiveness? Not to automatically forgive someone who has wronged you, but to create a process of forgiveness so that bitterness doesn't creep into your soul long term, hurting you physically far more than maintaining anger hurts the other person. Does your spirituality let you be of service to others, to cooperate with others, show compassion and fairness to others? How does your spirituality aid in living in community with other invariably fallible human beings? How does your spirituality inform your views about nature and your interactions with plants, animals, and insects? Then looking at your relationship with the divine, with the transcendent, how does your spirituality increase connection, grow in understanding of the mystery, or acceptance that we can never fully understand the mystery? Can you see how this might work for your own spirituality? Again, not all of these questions will be relevant to you today. It depends on what is most significant to you at this point in your life. Your focus will change and probably has changed as you learned and grew and have had different life experiences. Once you see how these kinds of questions can be used to look at your own spirituality, try to use them when and if you fall into judgment about someone else's spirituality. I believe the goal is to grow more love. If people can find and implement spiritual practices and spiritual beliefs that are life-giving to them, perhaps they will spend more time in communion with the Transcendent. And I don't know about you, but whenever I find and maintain that connection to the divine, my spirituality does bear more fruit, more love, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control, which are the fruits of the Spirit referenced in the Christian New Testament. Bearing good fruit not only helps me, but helps the people around me, creating a better space, creating better relationships, and letting those fruits, those virtues, ripple out from us to others. The ripples grow from person to person, helping to create a kinder and more loving world. We don't understand the mysteries of the universe, but we can grow more love. Love for ourselves, love for others, and love for the infinite mystery that lays beyond our understanding. Thank you for tuning in.